Hey guys, this is Scott Johnston, producer for the Prepped and Polished podcast. I just wanted to take a few minutes and wish all of you a healthy and happy new year, and thank you for listening to the Prepped and Polished podcast last year. Also, wanted to let you guys know that you can vote for Prepped and Polished as part of a contest with Boston Magazine. They're looking for the best of Boston. All of the information is in the show notes, so if you would be willing to support Prepped and Polished in that contest, we would really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Now, on with the show.
Welcome to the Prepped and Polished podcast, the podcast that empowers you to take control of your education, featuring weekly interviews with influencers in the world of education, as well as tutoring tips, lessons, and updates. And now, here's your host.
Hi everyone. Welcome to another tutoring tips episode of the Prepped and Polished podcast. It's Terry Carroll of Prepped and Polished. Please be sure to check out our website, www.preppedandpolished.com, for more info. While you're there, sign up for our free tutoring and test prep tips newsletter. It comes out monthly. You can join our Prepped and Polished community on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Prepped and Polished. You can submit a question during the show or after to radio@preppedandpolished.com. Let's get right to episode number 153, ISEE Sentence Completions, Find the Links to Solve. Many of my students have difficulty with sentence completions on the verbal reasoning section of the ISEE. Sentence completions are designed to test your knowledge of word meanings and your understanding of the logical structure of a sentence. Today, our focus will be on finding links in sentence completions to help you solve challenging sentence completion questions. It's important to know that links join the parts of a sentence together, and they tell you how different clauses relate to each other. Understanding this relationship will help you to determine what goes in the blank or blanks. Today, I'm going to tell you about 3 common links: contrasting, supporting, and cause-effect. When you see them on sentence completions, make sure that you underline or highlight them. It makes it much easier to solve a sentence completion. Let's take it to the board and I'll show you how these links work. Now I'm going to show you some common contrasting links. Let's take a look. Common contrasting links are but, yet, instead of, despite, although, even though, however, nonetheless, not, on the contrary, rather, and yet. And it doesn't hurt to memorize those or to be very familiar with them. Now let's look at a sentence completion that uses a contrasting link. Although she was the daughter of a wealthy slaveholder, Angelina Grimke blank slavery and blank her whole life for the cause of abolition. And abolition, in case you don't know, is the legal ending of slavery or the prohibition of slavery. But even if you didn't know that, you could probably get that from the context. So pay attention to the link. Since although is a contrasting link, the remainder of the sentence after that opening clause, although she was the daughter of a wealthy slaveholder, should show that Angelina Grimke is against slavery. That would be the contrast. Let's address that first blank. So we want to have something like Angelina Grimke's against slavery. Let's look at the first word in the answer choices. A, desired; B, detested; C, hated; D, represented. Well, right off the bat, A, desired, and D, represented are the opposite of against, so we can eliminate them. And so already the link helped us to get rid of 50% of the answer choices. Now if we look at the second blank, since there has to be a contrast, although she was the daughter of a wealthy slaveholder, maybe she fought or spent her whole life for that cause. Let's look at what's remaining. B, dedicated her whole life, or C, wasted. Well, we know C is out, so we found our answer. B is the answer. Although she was the daughter of a wealthy slaveholder, Angelina Grimke detested or hated slavery and dedicated her whole life for the cause of abolition. Done. Now I'd like to show you some cause and effect links that are commonly used in sentence completions. Cause and effect means that one thing happens and then as a result something else happens. Let's take a look. Some common cause-effect links that you should know are because, consequently, if, therefore, since, accordingly, for, in order to, so, and thus. Those are the ones most frequently used. Now let's look at a sentence that uses a cause-effect link. She fondly remembered her days as a blank teacher and consequently developed strong blank relationships with her student teachers. So pay attention to the link again. Consequently is a cause-effect link. And basically this sentence is saying that, this teacher had great memories of her early teaching career. So consequently, she was able to provide guidance and help her student teachers. Let's look at the answer choices. Choice A, she fondly remembered her days as a substitute teacher and consequently developed strong verbal relationships. That doesn't really make sense, so we're going to get rid of A. She fondly remembered her days as a novice teacher. Novice means new, and consequently developed strong mentoring relationships with her student teachers. B seems right. She was a new teacher. She remembered her days as a new teacher so she could mentor or guide her students. But let's look at the others. She fondly remembered her days as a competent teacher and consequently developed strong insufficient relationships. That's out. That doesn't make sense. And she fondly remembered her days as a designated teacher. That doesn't make any sense either. So we found our answer B. She fondly remembered her days as a novice teacher and consequently developed strong mentoring relationships with her student teachers. So once again, the link helped us to find our answer. Now I'd like to show you some supporting links, some common supporting links that are used in sentence completion sentences. These are very helpful, so I think pay attention. Some common supporting links are and, thus, as well as, and also. These three punctuation marks, semicolon, comma, and colon, are magical. The words that come after them in a sentence completion question define what should be in the blank. Let me show you a little bit more challenging sentence completion question with 2 blanks and 2 supporting links. Knowledgeable dog owners recommend obtaining a purebred dog from a blank breeder, comma, one who is blank and respected by customers and breeders alike. So pay attention to the supporting links. The comma is a big clue that the words that follow define and explain what type of breeder is recommended. The supporting link and is critical. It shows that the word in the blank has to be a word that works hand in hand with respected. They have to be similar. So let's look at our choices. A, humble, feared. Well, a humble breeder would not be feared. So let's get rid of that. Humble means modest. B, a demanding breeder certainly wouldn't be flexible. So we can get rid of B. A churlish breeder. Now you probably don't know what churlish means, but it means rude. A churlish breeder wouldn't be charming. Now, say you didn't know what churlish means. Just put a question mark and let's look at D. A reputable breeder, one who is admired and respected. Well, that seems correct because a breeder who's admired and respected would certainly be reputable, would have a good reputation. So we found our answer. The two supporting links, the comma and helped us find our answer. And it would read, knowledgeable dog owners recommend obtaining a purebred dog from a reputable breeder. And here's the definition of reputable: one who is admired and respected by customers and breeders alike. Now that you're familiar with common links in sentence completions, you'll be able to solve challenging sentence completions much more easily. If you have any questions or you want more in-depth tutoring, either online or in person, simply email info@preppedandpolished.com and we'll be glad to help you. Good luck. This wraps up our show, episode number 153, ISEE Sentence Completions. Find the links to solve. Be on the lookout for our next podcast episode, number 154, our next interview guest episode with Eric Stutman of Top Choice College Consulting. Remember, to access all of our podcast episodes, go to www.preppedandpolished.com/podcast. Thanks for joining us on the Prepped and Polished podcast. Now go out there and take control of your education.
You've been listening to the Prepped and Polished podcast. For more information, check out preppedandpolished.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for listening. Class dismissed.